come and sweat. And I want no part of that. Not because I could choose my own. Like, I'm not going to buy it. Sorry. Like, I just wonder what you guys think about when you go and, like, if you're not buying, like, a brand. Like, even at a certain point, brands are kind of obnoxious when it comes to scent. But I get it. It's a head-to-toe situation. And for me, I do plan on coming out with a scent. Now, it doesn't mean that I will probably wear it because I don't wear cologne. But I think that's not to assume that the man who would buy my stuff wouldn't. Because I really want like a bath gel, and I want like a lotion or a moisturizer. I'm sorry. You know, lotion is hood. Moisturizer is expensive. And so I was thinking like a candle, like a home thing, you know. And I do want you to think of a scent when you think of Omari Bossy, the brand, but I don't want you to think of a scent when you think about me, you know. Because I don't even think of my brand as so much me as it represents a lot of people. It just so happens to be my name. And I know that got really convoluted, but in my head it made a lot of sense. But yeah, I thought that was really, really weird. Because it was like, I wouldn't buy Pitbull or Ricky Martin or P. Diddy as a cologne. Like, yuck. Why would you? And they were expensive too. Like, when I say expensive, I mean expensive for Burlington Coat Factory. It was like $29.99. And I'm not gonna. Why would I do that? That's a $7 thing. That's a $7 thing. That's no. So no. Just that just needed to be said. Just no way. So moving on. Okay, so I'm very behind, and everybody knows this. I'm not very up to date when it comes to TV shows and blah blah blah. But I just recently got into the Game of Thrones, and I'm in love. I am so involved. I am involved. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that show gives me everything. Because I'm like, this is great. It shows penis and everything. Like, now I'm really watching it because I want to see whose penis they're going to show. But in between that, there's a good storyline as well. There's some crazy ass people in that show. But I'm so glad. Like, tonight I'm going to finish up season 2. And try to finish up season 3 tomorrow. I'm in love with it. And I hate seeing it. Because usually I try my best not to get involved with these, you know, on the bandwagon type of shows. Because they're so annoying. So annoying when people are like, oh, you got to watch Orange is the New Black, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't care about no damn Orange. I don't give a fuck about no Orange. But I did find myself 3 years later going, oh, that's not so bad. And I watched it. It was okay. It was cool. It was good. It was marvelous, actually. But nonetheless, I don't do it while it's happening. Like, everybody was all about Game of Thrones, and I didn't check it out. I checked it out because I literally had nothing else to watch on couchtuner.la. Like, Bob's Burger was done. Modern Family was done. Power was done, which I love. Ooh, I secretly love Power. It's almost like I secretly love Mary J. Blige. Just that whole thing. And because I actually kind of know, I don't know if you guys are going to rewind this, but I used to talk shit about Power. But it turns out I kind of like Power more than I like Empire. I sort of do. Because I'm not excited about Empire coming back. Not at all. Couldn't care less. I'll watch it, but I'm not excited about watching it. And the new American Horror Story is coming out, but it's got Lady Gaga in it, and her name is everywhere. It's like, I watched that show because I don't really know any of the people in it. Like, I watched it because, you know, obviously Angela Bassett, she was just in it, but I didn't know she was in it. I was watching it because it just looked creepy, and there was gay people in it, so it was like, this is cool. And now it's like her name is all over, and that doesn't make me want to watch it. It just makes me go like, okay, girl, You were in it too, huh? Okay. But I will say that I am just dying, waiting for Bob's Burger to come back, because that is my show. I live for Tina. I totally do. She's amazing. And so did I tell you? No, I didn't tell you. I'll wait. I'll wait till I get a response back from him first before I go into it. But I will tell you part of it though. Like when I worked in Chicago at Virgin Mobile, I used to have this really cute little guy who would come in, very mysterious and all that, and he was always just really interesting. Always buying phones and just having a gay old time in there with his girlfriend, and then he would bring another girl in there that wasn't his girlfriend, and then he would come in with some other girl that looked like his girlfriend, but it wasn't his girlfriend. He was buying her phone, then his phone would break, and then he would get another. And we were always like, what is up with this dude? Well, what's up with him is he's a major porn star, and his name is Pike Nelson, and he told me his name was Pike, but I didn't know his name was Pike Nelson, and I don't know why we looked that up. But anyway, I'm reaching out because I want him to know that I know, and I always knew when I worked at Virgin Mobile, but I didn't say it because it was kind of like our little secret. But now that I don't work there anymore, I don't live in Chicago, I kind of want to let him know. It's like, oh, I knew. Man, oh man, this dude is huge. That's all I'm saying. Not a size queen, doesn't matter to me, but it's huge. It's pretty big. He's a big boy. I won't say anything else, because then it makes me seem like a perv, and I'm really not. Kind of wholesome on certain days of the week. But anyway, I want to work with him. I do want to work with him in some capacity or another, because he's so interesting and he's openly like sexual, and I don't mean like gay or anything, because he totally does straight porn, but I love his open sexuality. It's pretty great. So obviously the title of the show was called NOMOSEXUal, because I thought, I'm always telling people that I'm celibate, and I'm really not. I mean, yes or no, I haven't had sex in almost 4 years. But celibacy sounds like such a thing. It almost sounds like atheism. Like, I'm an atheist, but I'm starting to try not to do that, tell people that, because it becomes a label. It becomes a thing. It becomes a topic of conversation. It becomes a debate. It becomes something that is really not for me. It's like a vegetarian. Like, I'm a vegetarian, but I like to not tell people I'm a vegetarian, because then they're like, oh, why? And it's just, I just don't eat meat. I don't like it. And when I do, I eat turkey sometimes. But it's because sometimes turkey just sounds good to me. And so the same thing here. Same thing here with celibacy. I'm just no interested in men in a sexual capacity. It doesn't mean I don't have a sex drive, because it's really high. I love it. If I could, I would have it every day. But it's what comes with it. For me, I'm an emotional guy. I am emotionally attached to people, and I can really only have sex with people who I have an emotional attachment to. And because I can't find that, I've decided it's not for me. So I decided to give up the title celibacy, because it just sounds so clinical and a thing. It's not for me. It's not who I am. And I traded it in for the better title of nomosexual, meaning I don't have sex no more, because it's not for me. It's like, I would love it, sure. It's like this. It's sort of like, I guess it is sort of like my vegetarianism. Like, part of me is like, yeah, I could eat meat if I wanted it. But if I were to go back to eating beef, it would make me sick. And then I don't want to get sick. So it's easy enough to just eat something that isn't going to make me sick. Same thing with dudes. It's like, sure, I could. But if I do, it's going to make me sick. Because dudes get on my nerves. When it comes to, like, okay, for instance, today. just today. Let's talk about today. Let's not talk about a long time ago, the past, or, well, it is the past, but semi-past, because it happened earlier today. So I was talking to a guy who was going to potentially interview as a model. And he's like a bear, a red bear, a ginger. Some people don't like that. They find that offensive. So I'm just going to say a redhead bear. Very jolly looking. I need some heavier guys on my side. I really want to work with some heavier dudes. Like heavy, like really, really big, but sexy. And this one's one of them, but he wasn't that big, but I want someone bigger. And so he's like, well, let's meet up. Let's do coffee. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. He's like, I can do it today or I can do it tomorrow. I was like, well, let's do it today because I'm open. I'm free. Got nothing else to do. He's like, all right, let's do it. I was like, all right, well, what time? He's like, after 3. I'm like, perfect, because I'll do some errands and then I'll, lounge, and then I'll meet you wherever. And I'm like, but I don't really know the city that well still, so you name the place and I'll get there. I didn't hear from him for a little while, and then he gets back. He's like, hey, I really can't probably do it now at 3. I kind of do it like sometimes after 7:30, maybe, but because I got 2 events I've totally forgotten about. And see, there it is for me. How do you forget 2 events? How do you have 2 events scheduled today at the same time that we're supposed to meet, and then you forgot about them? And then how you tell me, it's not even that you're telling me you forgot about them. It's like, this is what you're telling me so you don't have to meet me. It's like, just say, I'm not available. Like, I can't do it today. And this is typical. This is typical for what gay men are just doing right now. It's just this whole passive aggressive thing. I can't do it. It's too much for me to think about. So to me, I one strike people. I one strike them. It's like, if you couldn't do it, you flake or whatever, you're done. Like, I will never go back to that. Like, it's done for me. So I deleted him out of my phone. It's done. Right? And that's how I feel about dating too. Because it's the same feeling. It's like, okay, listen, no one is forcing you to go out on a date. No one is forcing you to say that you love them or you love me. No one's forcing your hand to do anything. It's usually pretty mutual. It's like this thing where you accept as a mutually exclusive thing. Especially if you meet with me. If you meet with me, I'm pretty upfront. I'm pretty open about what I want and what I'm looking for. I don't hide it. There's no pretense with me. And it just feels like when you're upfront, you find more people in the back. Like, they really don't want you to be that open and honest. They'd rather be I think they want to sound like good guys, but deep down inside, they're just not, because they don't know how to be. And it's not that they, there's nothing wrong with diversity in and no one is trying to make people subscribe to monogamy if they don't want to be. There's a big debate. There's always this feeling of, people saying that monogamy in the gay community, it doesn't exist or it's not possible and blah, blah, blah. And I'm always like, very possible. Because I met Lauren, who's monogamous as well. I mean, that's only been 2 people that I've ever met, myself and Lauren, in the 40 some odd years I've known myself. But I just can't get over the whole feeling like people are just full of shit. Like, my thing is, don't lie. You do not have to lie. I'd rather for you to omit than to lie. Just don't say anything. I read that much better than I do when you lie and then I have to figure it out. Because if I'm figuring it out, I'm done with you. If you omit, I'm not done with you. I'm just like, well, they never said it. So okay, cool, whatever. You can keep it going. But that's it. That's why I love my town. I'm just nomosexual. And don't be surprised if you see it on a shirt. Because it's definitely going to be there. Definitely coming up as a nomosexuals. Because it's just real. I just can't do it. Like, I think I want it, but it's like, what comes with it is just